All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Eavesdropping on the Illuminati. I am your host, Cardin Ellis. We are joined in studio with none other than Kat Dawes, who is author of The Time and Space Contract, Revised Edition, version 2.0. Kat Dawes is the guru of what is now known as Nowism. She hates the term guru. She prefers other terms such as, Kat?
Vibe restylist.
Vibe restylist.
Yeah.
That is genius. I love that. Okay, we are here live with the Vibe restylist, Kat Dawes, and we're actually going to be talking about her book. I had a chance to read The Time and Space Contract. Before I dive into chapter 1, Kat, tell us, what is a summary of The Time and Space Contract?
Well, I figured that as I incarnated into this epic life, as a human being in linear time, I realized that there had to be a user manual of sorts. And if there isn't one, there should be one. And so, I just I prayed, I meditated, I got really silent, and what came through was the Time and Space Contract, which is something that we actually signed before we became who we are in this life. Did you sign yours, Cardin, by the way?
I don't have a physical copy of the signature, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, I mean, just sign your name in the front of the book.
Okay.
So anyway, I believe that there is there's terms and conditions that you agree to.
Yes.
To live this human life, and you're bestowed with some mighty powers. So it'd be good to know what they are, right? So that's what the contract's all about.
All right, rock on. I can deal with that. So look, I actually just want to dive right into this.
Go.
Because I think this is really cool. There's anybody that has ever read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. I know that's very popular. And for lack of a better term, actually, before I do dive in, describe Nowism. For lack of a better term, how would you put it? What's the pitch of Nowism so people understand what I am about to indulge in right here?
Right. It's good to put it into a context. Nowism is the art of conscious participation in the present moment. So it is about activating the fullness of your human life without worrying too much about the future, without getting too nostalgic or regretful about the past, but actually to be really, really focused in the present moment and to be activating as much potential as possible as we move forwards from this moment right now.
Okay. So for those of you who are listening to this and cannot see, Kat is beautiful both inside and out, and she actually somehow manages to sit in a studio chair cross-legged. Not quite the lotus position, all right, but she manages to sit like a child around a campfire. She's got a great energy, a great vibe, and to be honest with you, I want to be like that. And I can tell that a lot of this vibe and a lot of this aura that you have, this spirit about you, is because of this code of ethics that you've adopted in your life that is, in my best explanation, known as Nowism. And you've written this really cool book called The Time and Space Contract that kind of outlines and is a guide to this. And we're just going to really quick cruise through this and give, what would you say? What'd you call it last time? Fast food enlightenment?
Oh, yeah, fast food enlightenment? Yeah, exactly.
Fast food enlightenment. Okay,
Yeah.
We are going to give the fast food enlightenment kids meal drive-through version of each one of these chapters.
Right.
So by the end of this series, people really feel like they are one step closer. So first off, your overview was hilarious. We don't have time to go through it, but freaking funny as. You're Australian, so I have to say funny as, and then not finish the sentence. All right. Section 1's about vibration. Hit me.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Right. So, over the, I'd say the past 10 years, the word vibration has become a bit of a buzzword in the spiritual community. You would have heard, just got to raise your vibration. Now on a quantum physics level, it has been absolutely proven that all of life is made of the same stuff, but it is all vibrating differently. And I find it really fascinating to know that all the bits, the building blocks, are actually mostly empty space, but it's vibrating. So yeah, chapter 1 is about, you're given vibration.
Okay, so here's some really interesting stuff that I picked up on this chapter. And for those of you just tuning in, I am literally just reading out of her book right now. I thought it was interesting. You said the artist, and throughout the book, you refer to the person that's reading it as the artist.
Yeah, that's right.
As the human being. Is this artist formerly known as Prince? No, I'm just kidding. I digress completely. But even before I get into what I think of this chapter, I would like to comment on the fact that you call the person reading this and the person going through this experience of life the artist. What's the history behind that? What made you choose that term instead of others?
Well, I've always felt like, what's the meaning of life? The meaning of life is the meaning that you give it. Therefore, to be an artist. Now, I've have a background in theater, music, dance, and so for me, the artist just totally made sense. Like, this is the art of life.
Okay, that was actually a really concise answer.
Thank you.
That was pretty solid. I dig that one.
roll.
Okay, so you said the artist is essentially a transmitter and a receiver of vibration. Being equals human radio station. That's point number 3. I'm going to skip forward to point number 7, where it says the universe receives the artist's transmission and then always delivers the goods.
Right.
So if I understand this correctly, you are surmising that the universe is neutral, and similar to the old adage that life's like a briefcase, you get out of it what you put into it, but it's based off of vibrations.
Right.
Elaborate.
Right. So going back to the human radio station concept, we are always broadcasting a frequency. We're always offering a vibration. Now, the way that that happens is we see things going on, we think thoughts, and then we feel feelings, right? And so we are constantly broadcasting some sort of vibrational quality out into the world as a response. Actually, let's call it a reaction to life. And so the idea of that I put out a broadcast, the universe receives that and then starts to deliver to me circumstances, people, places, things that sort of match the vibrational quality that I'm offering as a default setting.
Okay, cool. So before I continue on my analysis of this chapter, a thought did pop into my mind. If you were to sum up Nowism, because I think it's going to have to do with this next thing I read in this chapter, if you had to sum up Nowism in one sentence, in one elevator pitch, what would it be?
The art of raising your vibration.
Okay.
I made it fit the chapter that we're talking about.
Oh, right. That was pretty solid. All right. I'll give it to you. That was pretty awesome. Because I really liked what you said here in number 10. For those of you that haven't purchased the book yet, we're doing a read along. All right. You know what I'm saying? Number 10 was, a great error of understanding is that the human being is offering vibrations, parentheses, thoughts and feelings, end parentheses, in response to something that has been witnessed.
Right.
In other words, the artist, meaning us, those who are going through the human experience, quote, makes, end quote, the artist feel. Oh, no, sorry. Here's the thing. And if there was ever going to be one handy thing, this is it. The event witnessed by the artist / human being in time and space was essentially created by the vibrational offering of the human being prior to the event every time, no exceptions, no separation. Comprendism? I don't know what comprendism means, but I have a feeling that it means like capisce
Right.
to the Italians. So I thought that was interesting. Here is the thing, and if there ever going to be just one handy thing, this is it. The event witnessed by the human / artist in time and space was essentially created by the vibrational offering of the human being prior to the event every time, no exceptions. Expand upon that.
Right. So I have this a beautiful line, which is, you don't get what you want, you get what you're being. So if you're being
Wait, repeat that. You don't get what you want.
Yeah, you get what you're being.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. So what that means is, let's say you're filled with concern in the world, right? And your day is filled with concern, and you're going out into the world and you're feeling this feeling of concern. Your broadcast, your vibrational offering is concern. What's going to happen is you're going to find more things to be concerned about. What you see depends on what you're looking for, right? And so you don't get what you want, you get what you're being. So life has this, like two people can walk into the same room, right? If one has got the broadcast of concern and the other has a broadcast of celebration, they have very different experiences of what they notice and what they interact with in that room.
Okay, I know there's a lot of parents just like me driving right now saying, oh my goodness, I have 2 children, 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you not operate in a perpetual state of concern and perpetually exude that concerned, I don't want to say negative, but definitely uneasy energy? How do you condition? How do you train yourself not to?
Yeah, well, in the practice of Nowism, we really work on developing a strong context to live from. Context determines your perception. If you feel like the world is not a safe, friendly place, then you live from that space. You prepare from that space. You sort of, all the actions that you take come from that space. So in the mornings, the people who train in Nowism or my courses and stuff, what we do is we work on developing a strong, trusting context. So, for instance, one thing that a lot of the students love to announce as the first thought and feeling of the day is that I wake up in a friendly universe and that everything is working for me, not against me. And so we go into this deep state of gratitude and to actually be in an activity of gratitude so that the vibrational offering is one of ease and flow and gratitude and creativity and possibility, as opposed to concern, doubt, worry, fear, the to-do list. Oh my God, there's not enough time,
That's a big hurdle.
Right.
But it's one we want to get over. And that actually brings us into the next section here, which I thought was kind of interesting. Contrast/variety.
Yeah.
That's section 2. You say it's all one. The one is so fantastic that it is pretending to be many. Intriguing. Before the time and space adventure began, you, source energy, laid out a game plan, and it went something like this and that. Continue. Elaborate.
Right. Well, that's a really abstract introduction to the idea of, I believe that God, universe, source, the living intelligence, call it whatever word you fancy, right? It's based on unity. However, life here on Earth as human beings, it is based on contrast and variety. We come from unity, but our experience is one of contrast and variety. So in the contract, it says basically that source energy will provide you with lots of contrast and lots of variety. It will pretend to be lots of separate things so that you can have an experience.
Okay. Yeah. It will pretend to be... Okay, I'm wrapping my mind around this.
Right. So one power, one presence, one love. Let's just say that there's unity. In that Godhead, there is unity.
Yes.
Okay, now, coming from the now, the eternal now, into time, now we've got hot, cold, have, not have, today, yesterday. Everything goes into a completely different format as we exist in time and space. Now, however, the art of Nowism is about bringing that unity into the variety. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, so when you feel like you're separate from something, when you feel like you do not have, when you feel like, that you're a victim of the separateness, it behooves you to remember the true blueprint of life, which is unity. And then as you shift and lift your vibrational offering to unity, you'll find that the conflict that can happen in the contrast can start to chill, And
now that's the key word, though, chill.
Right.
We all really wish we were better at this.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
How do we get there?
To the chill?
How do we get from this side of the podcast to that side of the podcast? All right? Because honestly, I feel like that's something that I struggle with.
Yeah.
I think I was blessed with many talents, and I want to get a lot of them on paper, out the door, made, completed, shared, taught, and I do recognize theoretically there's only so much time in the day. And you can't do it all. Right. And you can't expect yourself to do it all, or else you drive yourself bonkers.
Yep. At
the same time, you do feel like, well, these were given me for a reason, whether it was by God, whether it was by the source energy, whether it was by this really cool drawn dude in the meditating position on the page of the book that I'm showing everybody on the camera. All right. No matter who it was from, you do feel almost like this intrinsic natural core I don't want to say duty, but responsibility to share that and to get these things done, get these good deeds accomplished.
Yes.
That in and of itself, as a good thing, can cause a stress, like an internal to-do list. You don't seem to be worried about that to-do list. So what is the difference between me and you? I'm only 2 chapters in. You got to help me.
Yeah.
You got to help me.
I feel you, brother. Look, it's a great question, and actually, the answer is painfully simple. It's just a muscle. It's a muscle. To be able to navigate life with a level of poise and grace is a muscle. Doesn't mean conflict doesn't happen. It just means that I have trained myself to respond instead of react. You know, like there is a...
Okay, how are those different? Response versus reaction.
So a reaction, something happened over there. It made me think something and feel something, and now I'm reacting. Something happened over there, say it's a conflicting sort of thing.
Yeah.
Instead of my knee-jerk reaction, which could cause me to turn into rage or fear or sadness or frustration or something, instead of being in reaction, I just take a moment and I actually respond consciously with the looking through the filter of what's the gift in this, as opposed to what the hell, you know? And to allow an
By the way, was
external-
that an actual impersonation of your interlocutor right now? Was that an impersonation, or was that just a general, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Was that
You
just
know,
a general?
It's general.
Okay, as long as it wasn't directed at me, I'm fine. So, okay. I'm loving everything that I'm hearing right now. I'm absolutely loving it. My question is, actually, no, let's skip forward. And I think I'm going to have this question answered in the next chapter. Section 3 is beliefs and knowings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because the ability to change has to be based upon knowledge.
Yes.
All right. And it's interesting because what I've gleaned from Nowism through reading, and I read her book. So many radio hosts don't actually even open up the book.
Blessings, brother.
But thank you very much. Section 3 says beliefs, also known as knowings. Why would you call them knowings?
A belief is a thought that you keep thinking, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe it was handed to you through parents, government, religion, culture. Like beliefs come, right? We inherit a lot of beliefs.
Okay.
And so when you think a thought for long enough, it becomes a belief.
Okay.
That becomes something that you know in your bones, you know? And
Yeah.
and for me, there is a bit of a distinction between the word belief. Is it something you believe, or is it something that you know? And for me, I wanted to put those words on the same page, because I think that when you truly, truly believe something, you know it, you know? And so, for instance, you know, let's go abstract. This is a very abstract book, by the way. And I just want to applaud you for tackling it with such
Oh, right.
grace.
Rock. With such what?
with grace, you know, because
okay, cool.
it's a gimmick and it's playful and it's funny, but it has a lot of depth and it's profound, but it can confuse as well, right? Because
Yeah.
what is this? But you know, if I was to believe on a cellular level that this could float up, I just dropped a book, right? And gravity took over. Like it would float up, right? Like would it or wouldn't it? You know, like what is a belief? What is a knowing? And how do we get that in our bones? And where do they come from? Like the beliefs are in the contract are something that you have the opportunity to construct yourself. And beliefs have such a massive influence on the way that we turn up in life, right? It's a really big piece. So cultivating really rich broad beliefs, like really big, beautiful, strong, graceful, friendly beliefs is that's a really important part of spirituality, I believe.
It is cultivating our belief structure.
Yeah.
So how do we go about cultivating a better belief structure?
As I said before, I believe that what we see depends on what we're looking for. So if
Dang it.
I know, right?
Like, dang it. So if we constantly see cynical, negative things, it means we're just cynical, negative, washed up individuals. You know, okay, keep going.
It's true. So if I want to live a life of expansion, of creativity, of power, of grace, then at some point I've got to start believing that that's true, right? I've got to know that that's true. So I've got to go on a hunt for where is the proof of the friendliness in life? Where is the proof of life-giving frequencies in life?
Yeah.
And as you cultivate a like an intention to go on a hunt for those things, and you're looking for them and you're interested in them, then you can start to, on a cellular level, believe that life is working for you, not against you. But you have to do the airtime with this thing. Now, I believe that beliefs are really important to look at, especially if you inherited them from people who, like, you know, are just in your vicinity from when you were born, especially if their beliefs are a bit, like, dodgy. It's worth taking a look. What do I believe? Why do I believe that? Where did it come from?
Okay.
You know?
So, wow. This is going to be actually really cool. We're going to have to take a break here and just go on a brief break. But when I get back, I got a question for you. And don't answer it now. We can answer it on the other side of our break. But it's interesting how you're saying how the way the universe responds to us is actually the cart that follows the horse of our attitudes, instead of our attitudes being the cart that follows the horse of our actions. Or I've botched that, but people know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, totally.
Do you actually think that by changing beliefs, you can change reality?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So that's going to be the subject of what we come back from the next time, because I need to know more of this. Half the people have shut off the podcast machine already, saying, or the radio machine actually saying, okay, this person is crazy. But the big question is, can you indeed change your stars? And is Nowism potentially a part of that process? With those answers, we will be back in a minute with Kate Dawes, author of The Time and Space Contract, revised 2nd edition. This is Eavesdropping on the Illuminati. I am your host, Cardin Ellis. We will be back in a minute. Welcome back to Eavesdropping on the Illuminati. I am your host, Cardin Ellis. We are joined in the studio by Kat Dawes, author of The Time and Space Contract, version 2.0. She is not known as the guru, but as the, what was it again? The vibrational energy coach? Wow, gosh, I'm botching it already. What is it again?
The Vibe Restylist.
The Vibe Restylist. She only charges, no, I'm just kidding. But she'll redo your vibe and the book will change your life. We just talked about sections 1 through 3. We're actually going to just dive straight into section 4. The prologue to this conversation is this concept that by changing your beliefs, you can change your reality. If I sum up what we talked about earlier, you suggested that the universe simply offers you back what you are currently being. Therefore, by changing how you are being in life, you can inherently change the reality around you.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Elaborate on that, and then we're going to jump into your perfectly titled Deliberate Creation, chapter 4 of your book. So talk to us about changing your reality by changing your beliefs.
My fine print here, first disclaimer, is that by changing your beliefs doesn't mean that you take away all of the hardship of life, doesn't mean you take away death, doesn't mean you take away the seasons of change and all of this. However, if your belief...
Weight loss. Weight gain. Can you take away weight gain?
Right, you can.
Oh, no. Okay.
But, like there is this... there's a default setting that we hang out in, and that is our belief systems. If we believe that humanity is painfully misguided and dangerous, then we're going to turn up in the world.
Which it is. Okay. Proof positive the week we're living through. Anyway, keep going.
Then of course you're going to be sort of colliding with proof of that on and on and on. Like you're not going to get away from proof of that. My suggestion in all Nowism and the Time and Space Contract is, as you get more interested and sort of invest your precious attention in the life-giving frequencies of ease, of flow, of grace, harmony, the way nature is designed, actually. And if you come from a yes as opposed to a no, then your life is going to have a different tenor. It's going to have a different tone to it. You're going to interact and have proof of more fun, ease, grace. You sort of you'll be the one who sort of rocks up and the car park is full, but you get the car park, and
Yeah.
you look lucky. You will look lucky, but you have this grace about you that just demands like life just be easy, And,
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a tough one. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're so great at when I interrupt you. See, usually people dwindle down their sentence, but no, you just straight up stop. You know what I'm saying? You're a great guest. I am a belligerent host. I apologize. I can just hear the voices of people thinking right now. I'm going through a terrible divorce that sucks. Oh, my child just got this horrible ailment.
Yeah.
I'm declaring bankruptcy.
Yeah.
For having done the good deed of having tried to start a charity or a business or whatever, and it's failing for things beyond my control. And I mean, how do you stay positive in those seemingly untenable moments?
Yeah, it's a really great question. And, it has so much to do with the types of questions that you ask when crisis hits, right?
Yeah.
When the shift hits the fan.
Yeah.
There is
Thank you for using the F
you're
on
welcome.
my FCC broadcasted channel. Thank you for emphasizing the shift on that so I don't get a bunch of angry calls from, people sitting in their minivans cursing the radio asking, Mommy, what does that mean? So when the shift, meaning the drastic alteration in your
Right.
life,
Yeah.
hits the fan.
Yeah. What
Continue.
matters is the types of questions that we ask. Now, if you're asking questions such as why me, woe is me, if you're coming from there, you're going to get answers that reflect that. But as a nowist, as a conscious participant, a deliberate creator, what we want to do is respond instead of react, and actually
Okay.
turn up in those moments, asking better questions. First great question is, okay, what is the gift in this? Something's happening in my life and there's going to be a gift in it.
Okay, I just got a divorce. What's the gift in that?
What is the gift in this? There's got to be a gift in this. If this is actually happening to me, and I believe, because I've been working on my belief systems, right, that life is working for me, not against me, then there must be an initiation taking place. What is it? Second great question. What do I need to become now in order to get through this? That's a very different style question to why me and what the, and I feel like that is the art of nowism, is learning how to respond to life with the most alkaline response possible. So instead of being hijacked by life's events, sort of chest open, hitting it straight on and asking like great questions that allow you to sort of be initiated into your greatest days.
Okay, so thus far I've been in the class of what the and just getting angry. Okay,
Right.
So you say, though, to develop, and I like this word. I thought that was interesting. I'd like you to expand upon it. You said to have the most alkaline response possible.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
So, when something goes down, there's a drama, the wife leaves, the house burned down, you lost the car, the money, the job. A toxic response is where you let that take you down and then you become a crazed maniac and then you sort of vent your frustrations and anger and it's warranted, right? Because you're reacting to a circumstance. An alkaline version is you still feel the sadness, you still feel the pain, but you're actually looking for what is the growth here for me. You're getting as quickly as possible to the the transformational value in it, as opposed to, my plan has been hijacked. You hear what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting in the rest of this subsection. And I mean, I swear we could do an entire podcast just on this one subsection. We could do an entire radio hour on just this one subsection. But you say thou should allow, which I can tell is obviously a play on words,
Right.
from the great 10 Commandments of my boy Moses.
Right.
All right. But you say the artist can get into allowing mode by spending his or her thoughts and feelings on what it will be like to have this dream desire in their life. This causes the artist to become a vibrational match to the desire, which then allows the experiences to turn up.
Right.
Subsection 2, think and speak about the desire in the present tense. And then 3, the artist is inspired to choreograph a here and nowism victory jig. This summons the manifestation like the rain. So, okay. So obviously you're speaking hyperbolically there, and you're speaking
100%.
humorously, but elaborate on this causes the artist to become a vibrational match to the desire, which then allows the experience to turn up. Because this talks to how you said how your belief structure can actually affect your reality.
Yeah, it's a fact now, and quantum physicists are able to really measure this sort of thing now, that if you're like, okay, what's a good human example? Hang on. If you're feeling the sting of lack in the wallet, right? The bank account is aching hard.
Very familiar with the feeling, yes.
Right. So, but you want to experience great abundance.
Yes.
You can't be hanging out in lack and feeling just, I don't have enough, there's never enough, where's the next money coming from?
Yes.
Like, if that is your internal commentary, then your vibrational offering is one of lack, of loss, of doubt, of fear, right? So in order to become a vibrational match to the desired outcome, what we have to do is to start actually get involved with the energy of the answer. So for instance, using money as an example, abundance as an example. If you want to feel abundant and feel the freedom of abundance, you can't be tuned into lack. So how can I feel into the presence of abundance? Leaves on trees, hair on head, grains of sand, to feel the fullness of life, to be in an actual activity with the fullness of life. Now I'm a vibrational match to abundance instead of banging around in my lack. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from there, this is where it's quite amazing, is that the universe shifts somehow. As soon as you start to hang out in the vibration of your answer, suddenly from nowhere, you will walk into answers. You'll get an offer. You'll find $50 on the street. You'll get that phone call that is
Can we
offering.
upgrade that to 100?
Sure thing, brother. Like there is something that happens when you change your focus and you change your vibration. You start to get different feedback.
So you bring up some really good examples here, because all of this highfalutin, as we would say, speech, and a lot of this spiritual speech, I really like. And it's like this golden, shining city on a hill. But we don't want it just to be a mirage that we
Right.
reach for and dream about. We want it to be a reality, so that we end up being the cool girl that comes in and sits cross-legged, in the chair like a child who's having fun, while everybody else sits nervous thinking I'm going to say something on air that, ends my job. We want to have that vibe that you have. We want to have that energy that you have obviously cultivated. So how do we take that shining city on a hill that appears to many like a mirage off in the distance into becoming a practical reality? And you bring some interesting examples here. You said, example, purchasing a slinky new suitcase that will be soon filled with the artist's possessions as he or she ventures into the voyage of a lifetime. Another example, clearing a spot in the living room for the sexy, shiny, incredibly charming piano that is, quote, on its way, end quote. I didn't know pianos could be sexy, but as a pianist, I appreciate that analogy. And third, extra example, you say buying a matching coffee cup for the perfect lover that is about to walk into one's life. So you're almost saying, as many rappers actually would say, fake it till you make it. Do you ever notice how these, I honestly think the modern American hip hop artist is a perfect example of what you're talking about, because you ever notice how all of their songs are about how many ladies they be getting, how much money they be dropping, how much they be charging, you know what I'm saying, about the car they couldn't afford when they recorded it, okay? But they're driving the Lambos and the foreigns and so on and so forth. And then what do you know? The song goes triple platinum and they end up actually having the ladies, the cars, the foreigns, the mansions, so on and so forth. So is this just, it's not so benign as just to be simple, fake it till you make it. Just elaborate here.
So, there's a wonderful metaphysical teacher from the 40s called 20s even, late 1800s even, Florence Scovel Shinn. She has a term called active faith. Active faith is where I take a little bit of action that helps me feel the feels of my end result. And that's one of the things that we can do, is actually prepare for my wonderful outcome. See, you don't get what you want, you get what you're being. You get what you prepare for too,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I have a wonderful little fable about this. It's called Implementing Plan B. And it's a story of, the little bee in the front of the book there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so implementing Plan B is not the second plan. It's the one that you're being, and so.
Oh,
Right?
dude, you got all these cool puns in the book. I gotta say, you are like dad jokes on steroids, but they actually mean something, so they're memorable. But yeah, keep going. The B plan.
Yeah, so that, you get what you're being. Like implementing Plan B, it's not the second plan. It's the one that I'm being. So if I want to go on a wonderful holiday, right, and I want to feel the feels and get into the vibe of that, then I've got to start doing things that make me feel that. Maybe it means buying a travel magazine and actually feeling the feels. Buying a suitcase, like, so that I'm ready to go when it happens. Like anything that can help me sort of get into the activity of believing in my end result.